Welcome to SCORE, the best kept secret. Hi, I'm Steve Davis and your host today. Today we're in Pottsville in Schuylkill County highlighting the good works of the Schuylkill County office of SCORE. We've heard a lot of great stories today, and joining me is J.T. Herber, a volunteer, a very active volunteer I might add, and he's going to share his story on why he volunteers in SCORE in Schuylkill County. So welcome, JT.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. And to start off, how did you hear about SCORE and how did you get engaged?
I originally became aware of SCORE here in Schuylkill County through my volunteering with one of the local fire departments. SCORE became involved with our county fire association to basically help the fire companies throughout the area, which there's over 100. Essentially
100?
Over 100 in Schuylkill County, yes.
Yikes.
They wanted to basically streamline some of the fire company efforts, make the companies more efficient, and in some ways talk about areas where consolidation and things of that nature may be more appropriate.
And your role at that time was, you were in the fire company side?
Yes. I have about 25 years experience in a local fire department, currently serving as captain. So I came into SCORE essentially as a client, really liked some of the work that I saw in SCORE and decided that I could possibly help and make a difference as a volunteer. And that's what led me to start working with the local SCORE board here in Schuylkill County, and I've been involved now for about 2 years.
For about 2 years. Okay,
yeah.
So you've mentored clients. Any stories come to mind that sometimes when you work with our SCORE clients, sometimes they decide now's not a good time to go ahead, or sometimes they're ready to go ahead. So do you have any stories to share about that?
Sure. About a year ago, we had a husband and wife that came into SCORE looking to possibly buy an established business. Because of the nature of the circumstances, they actually had a lot of familiarity with the business. They had been there and been a customer of it for probably the better part of 2 decades. But at this point in time, they were nearing retirement. The folks who owned the business were actually approaching retirement themselves, and the SCORE clients actually were looking to possibly buy this business and take it on.
Okay.
We spent quite some time with them. It was a major investment, and at the end of the day, after discussing with them the issues and realizing that they would have to sink their entire retirement fund into the business, putting it all at risk, not to mention going from a nearing retirement stage of career to working 7 days a week in the new business, they eventually decided that this was not a business opportunity that they wanted to pursue and moved on. And I think some people might consider that to be, perhaps a failure, but in reality, I think from a SCORE perspective, we saw that as a success, not to perhaps talk somebody out of a business, but in allowing them to kind of think of the important issues that they needed to consider in terms of deciding whether or not this was right for them.
And that's a good point. Sometimes we help our clients give it what you call a cold-eyed stare. Now, you're an attorney, but it sounds like in your role as a volunteer with this couple, I don't know, it doesn't sound like you did much legal work support with them. You just walked them through the process and maybe risk. Is that how you walked them through that?
I think that was a lot of it. It was basically a lot of questions in terms of looking at what it would take to start the business, or I should say continue the business, and the dedication and the amount of work it would take for that business to succeed.
Good.
So.
Okay. SCORE is free and confidential, and we do try to get our name out, and it's constant. And there's a lot of people with a lot of knowledge. How do you see SCORE adding value in the Schuylkill County community? Where do you see where they add value? SCORE adds value.
I see SCORE as adding value in a lot of different ways, as a matter of fact. One way that SCORE adds value is to help businesses to succeed. Helping businesses that might be struggling to get out of trouble, or perhaps take the next step in a situation where a business is looking to expand or looking to take on an additional role or a larger role in the marketplace. Another way that SCORE helps to aid the local economy is helping folks who have a great idea turn that idea into a practical, functional business, and hopefully avoid the pitfalls that can affect many other businesses that might not have had the experience or the mentoring that SCORE can provide, whether that's accounting, insurance, legal, or just practical business experience from someone who's started a business, ran a business, and is familiar with the ins and outs of business-related issues that someone who's perhaps looking to get involved in may not have.
Well, and you come from a very high, being an attorney and being around small businesses, so many times you hear people don't want to, I'm not sure if I have the money to invest in an attorney versus maybe do you not have the money to invest in an attorney. SCORE is free and confidential. So I'm sure some people have gone away from sessions with you saying, holy cow, I just sat with an attorney for an hour and got a lot of free advice. I see value there.
Sure, absolutely.
You must see that as well.
Yeah, and it's not just the attorneys. I mean, you also have the opportunity to sit in with banking folks, accountants, insurance agents, or just somebody who's got some business experience in some field, perhaps even related to the type of business that a SCORE client is looking to get involved in.
Yes, and so you believe helping these small businesses, how does that propagate through the community? How do you see that going, JT?
Well, it's not just helping the business owner, but it's really helping to stabilize and improve the local economy. Getting a viable business off the ground or helping to stabilize it or perhaps helping to expand it really allows that business in many cases to take on additional work, perhaps hire additional employees, and overall make the community a better place for everyone to live.
It's all about jobs. Let me ask you: Is a volunteer? Have you worked with is more of your work with nonprofits or for-profits? The fire company is a nonprofit. Is it 50-50? What's your take on that?
I'm not sure on the history of SCORE itself. I believe it was initially started for profits, but really in this area, I'd say about half of our SCORE clients are nonprofits, and the other half are for-profit in the Schuylkill-Berks area.
Okay, and that's I would agree with that. We see nonprofits, and part of the things, a nonprofit needs to be run like a business.
Sure.
You have a set of books, and you have to run it like a business, or you're not going to be a nonprofit. So. That's all part of the equation. So you have volunteered with both nonprofits and for-profits.
Correct, and not just in counseling sessions, but also through various educational programs that we've put on. I did a program about a year and a half, 2 years ago, specifically on nonprofit governance, meeting with and getting a bunch of community leaders in from different nonprofit organizations to talk about how they needed to govern their organization. Not in terms of the specific decisions they needed to make, but the various things they needed to be aware of in order to keep their business within the confines of the law, making sure they were following proper procedures, maintaining that nonprofit status, and also giving them some tips and pointers in terms of dealing with taxation and other issues that do affect nonprofits and how to address those.
It sounds like you are truly engaged and enjoy being a SCORE volunteer.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, again, JT, thank you for coming in and sharing your thoughts and ideas on why you volunteer. Again, we're free and confidential, and we certainly are out there in the community, both for-profit and nonprofit, to add value any way we can to see the various entities successful. So again, JT, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Check back next week for more stories from SCORE, the best kept secret, here on the People Chronicles. Like us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube. If you would like to access our services or volunteer with SCORE, visit our website, berksschuylkillscore.com.